Hi and welcome back to the cottage. Today I have a really fun project I'm going to be taking on, and that is creating a chalkboard art sign. I'm sitting here next to one of the only large pieces of decor that we have here at the cottage, and that is this chalkboard art sign that was created about 5 or 6 years ago when we lived in a early 1900s home. And in the garage, when we were kind of cleaning it out and looking around, we found this old window, and we decided to make a chalkboard art sign out of it. I fully intended at the time that we created this piece to redo the art on it every month or two just to kind of freshen up our decor, but at the time we had a lot of little kids and we hung this piece up high and out of their reach so that they wouldn't mess with it, and it just never was really convenient to take it down and redo it. And now that we've moved here to the cottage, I'm finding it really difficult to erase this phrase that we've had with us for all of these years. And so I kind of toyed around with the idea of perhaps creating another piece of art, finding another window frame and doing the same thing, and that one would be sort of the one that I erase and redo often. But I don't really like the idea of having duplicates of the same type of thing. And so ultimately what we decided to do is to create an insert for this window that can be turned around and put in and out depending on the seasons. And I think it will just offer me a lot of flexibility in what I design on the chalkboard. We're not worried now about our kids messing with it, and so I can hang this piece. I can have it in the corner like I do now. I can hang it on top of the mantle, by the fireplace. There's lots of different places I can put it. So I'm really excited about the prospect of creating all of these chalkboard art pieces. And so with my husband's help, we cut this thin piece of plywood that we are going to easily be able to slide into the window frame. And we also realized that the window isn't exactly square, it's very old, and so we decided to also create these side pieces that are kind of act as bumpers or guards so that the plywood won't fall out, and they also kind of cover up the unevenness on either side. And so I'm going to take this out to the garage now, and I'm going to paint it with chalkboard paint, and then I will take you along through the process. I'm putting it on pretty thick, and I will also go back and give this a second coat after it's all dried on both sides. It's kind of weird because it does seem to look almost navy blue when you first put it on, but it is drying black, so I guess that's just the way that the paint is. I'm putting the second coat on opposite the green now, and do you see how blue this looks like? Like a navy blue almost. It's really interesting. It does dry black, but it did kind of freak me out at first when I started putting it on. I'm putting this layer on pretty thick. This I'm hoping will be my final coating. Alright, so it's a week later and all of the pieces are dried nicely. I've got them right here with me. They are a great jet black color and the coverage seems to be really good. And so now I'm going to go ahead and prep or season the surface of the chalkboard, both sides, and I will do that by rubbing the entire surface with white chalk and then using a damp cloth to erase the excess. And this kind of just gets the surface ready to accept chalk art, and it makes it easier and smoother for the chalk to go on. So I've got my white chalk here that I'll be using, and this process does create quite a bit of dust, so I'm going to take this job out on the porch. I like how this process tends to make a more authentic looking chalkboard, and it sort of gets rid of that stark black color and makes it look like it's a well-loved chalkboard. And it will also make it easier for me to add art, and it will prevent what's called ghosting, which is where when you erase a piece of art, a bit of art that you've drawn, it shows the negative image of what was there. And so this should help with that. So it is a very important step to take if you are creating your own chalkboard. Alright, the chalkboard is dry now and it's time for the fun part to begin. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips that will help make this process a little bit easier. And today I'm going to be drawing on this chalkboard a combination of text and also some graphics. And I have found for myself personally that I'm able to freehand organic shapes and flowers and different things like that a lot easier than I am fonts. And so what I like to do is I like to print out the fonts that I'm going to be using and print out the words I'm going to be using. I've got the words for this sign right here. And essentially what you do is you print it off and you take chalk, rub it on the back side of this paper, and then set the design where you'd like it to go. And then you, with pressing kind of hard, you trace around the letters. And that will give you just a nice guideline of what you're going to be filling in or embellishing later on. And it just, I think, makes it a lot more clear, and for me it just takes the guesswork out of the font part of this process. Be patient as you are adding your word transfers onto the chalkboard. If you need to add a little extra chalk, that's totally fine. Just kind of go letter by letter until the whole word is transferred over. And the other tip I have today involves the chalk itself. And I personally like to use primarily white chalk when I'm doing chalkboards, but this tip works with both colored and white chalk. And so all you need to do essentially is find a small reservoir, like a dish or a bowl or a cup, and fill it with water. And then before you go to write on your chalkboard, you simply dip the tip of your chalk into the water, and it's just gonna make that chalk glide more smoothly onto your chalkboard. And if you're using colored chalk, it also makes the colors a bit more bright and vibrant. So this is another just simple little tip that makes this process a little bit easier and more enjoyable. All right, I finished up the art. I'm gonna show you how it turned out. I've got two different sides. I've got the more freehand floral look on this side, and then just some simple words on the other side. And this is going to go into that old window frame, and I can easily turn it around and change it out depending on how I want the mood of the room to be. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that into the window frame right now and show you the final product. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope this was a fun little craft project for you to try, and I hope you'll stop by the cottage again soon for more fun inspiration.